What if doomed souls could have a second chance at a better afterlife? I'm sure some people would do anything to obtain eternal peace. But when the main character of the show goes from this,
I love you all so much,
to this, you gotta ask yourself if it's worth it. Saving souls is the name of the game in the 2019 animated series Hazbin Hotel, and the devilish princess won't rest until she proves redemption is possible. Let's get right into it. The first episode opens with a narration from the Princess of Hell, Charlie Morningstar. She tells her version of the Adam and Eve story. You know, the one with the snake and the apple, and it starts with a group of powerful angels creating the universe. Of course, that includes the Earth. The angels wanted humanity to be inherently good, so outside influences from the likes of Lucifer, an angel known for his eccentric ideas, were unwelcome. As it turned out, Adam and his first wife, Lilith, had problems with each other from the start. Adam was kind of an asshole and super controlling, so Lilith ran away to escape him. Her defiance compelled Lucifer, and when they met, they fell in love. They later worked together to tempt Eve to eat the apple, an act that gave humanity free will. The elder angels can't believe Lucifer went behind their backs, so as punishment, they cast him and Lilith into hell, where they became the rulers. The angels fear retaliation, so to prevent an uprising, they start having annual exterminations. Yeah, and it's as bad as it sounds. Once a year, they send these lethal angels, known as exorcists, into hell to kill as many sinners as possible to keep hell's population under control. Something fishy's going on here. Assuming Charlie is a reliable narrator, heaven's looking pretty corrupt if you ask me. That brings us to the present day in hell, where Charlie witnesses the aftermath on a recent extermination. It's like the purge out there, and our girl's tired of watching her people be slaughtered for no reason. She wants to give sinners a new way to thrive through the Hazbin Hotel. We learn about this hotel in the first original 2019 YouTube pilot, but this episode marks the official start of the Amazon series, and if you haven't watched the pilot, no worries. The Hazbin Hotel is the name of Charlie's business, a hotel where sinners can live and work to better themselves. Her girlfriend and co-owner of the hotel, Vaggie, overheard her reading the story about her parents and pops in to check on her. Vaggie asks if Charlie's heard from her mom yet, but apparently Charlie's gone 7 years without speaking to Lilith. Yeah, apparently Hell's Queen went MIA, and no one knows where she went, including her kid. Given what we just heard about Heaven and their opinions on Lilith, I can only assume the worst at this point. The Halo and Harps crew up there are suspects number one. Anyway, Vaggie distracts Charlie by taking her downstairs, where their newest hire, a well-known and dangerous demon named Alistair, wants to show them his take for the hotel's first commercial. Here's the thing though, Alistair's the radio demon. He's known for broadcasting across hell, and he hates modern media, including television. He also thinks the Hazbin Hotel's a waste of time, so his commercial is one big joke. I mean, it paints the place in a pretty negative light, but that's par the course considering where they call home. The acting's not even that good, with the lone actors being the hotel's lone resident, Angel Dust, a maid named Nifty, and the bartender, Husk. The group starts arguing about the commercial and the hotel's success, but Charlie gets a call from her dad, so she steps out to take it. I'll sidebar here to mention that although Angel's staying at the hotel, he doesn't believe in redemption. He's only there for a free meal and a bed to sleep in. He happens to ask if Alistair could force other demons to stay there, and the short answer is yeah. The long answer is that Alistair's an overlord, a demon who makes deals with other demons, giving them something in return for their souls. He owns them, pretty much. Husk and Nifty have deals with Alistair, which is why they're there working at the hotel. There are all sorts of overlords, and they're all competing for power. It just so happens that Al's the best of the best. Strange that he wants to hang around an empty hotel, but hey, everyone's got their hobbies. Anyway, Charlie's call with Lucifer is pretty big. It turns out Heaven wants to have a meeting with him, but he can't make it. He wants to send Charlie instead, so she obviously thinks it's the perfect opportunity to tell them about the Hazbin Hotel. Vaggie, meanwhile, is suspicious. The extermination just ended, like there are literal corpses in the streets, so why would Heaven want to meet so soon? Charlie doesn't have time to worry about this though. She rolls out alone and blesses our ears with a song about how great it is to live in hell.
Yeah, I'll head over there right away. Okay. Yes. Yes!
Isn't she just a doll? Things go sideways when she reaches Heaven's embassy, where she meets Adam. Yeah, that Adam. He's an angel now, and he doesn't give a damn about his reputation. The dude's literally the first a-hole to ever walk on Earth, and he's quick to let Charlie know it. Not only is he all ego and arrogance, but he's also the leader of the exorcists. To make matters worse, he's got a personal hype man in his lieutenant, Loot. They're both too proud to come to hell, so they use holograms for their meeting with Charlie. They hate the redemption plan because, in their minds, sinners had the chance to redeem themselves when they were alive, so hell is forever. They then leave Charlie with the devastating news that they are moving up the next extermination, with a plan to return in just 6 months. That's brutal. Charlie goes back to the hotel where she finds Vaggie and the others excited to show her a new commercial for the hotel. Vaggie and Alistair worked out an agreement to make a better one for the hotel, and he really pulled out all the stops. But the news interrupts the commercial to announce the moved-up extermination. The emergency broadcast flings the Hazbin Hotel and the entire city into chaos. Meanwhile, Adam and Loot use their projections to track down a missing exorcist. And when they find her body, Loot suggests launching an extermination then and there, but Adam refuses, promising that their next attack on hell will be their last. As if just living in hell wasn't bad enough. Now everyone needs to worry about dying here too. The second episode opens with Charlie losing her mind over the next extermination. She just has half the time to save the sinners. No pressure or anything. To make matters worse, another demon blasts a hole through the hotel wall with his massive airship. Stuff like this just happens in hell, but demons should think twice before attacking their literal princess. Anyway, Sir Pentious is the one who decided to throw down that morning. He's usually stuck in territory disputes with another demon named Cherry Bomb, but that morning he wants to take a crack at Alistair. In fact, he's there to prove himself to the V's by defeating Alistair. Who are the V's? Well, according to Alistair, they're nobodies. Meanwhile, across town, the V's are hard at work at their headquarters, V Tower. While Alistair's not impressed, the group is actually a trio of 3 overlords who joined forces to build a media empire. Known as Vox Tech, their company is run by the TV demon Vox, the social media guru and fashion icon Velvet, and the adult movie director Valentino. Vox is advertising his new camera drones. Alistair must love that. When he gets a call from Velvet, Valentino's throwing a tantrum, which includes destroying his side of the tower and killing some of the staff when they get in the way. Vox is the face of Vox Tech, so it's his job to smooth things over. He heads out and meets some reporters outside of his office, and he announces his newest investment in angelic security, then moves on to Velvet's department, where she's ripping into her fashion models. She has no idea what Valentino's so mad about, but whatever it is, it got her best model killed. It doesn't sound like they've got the most cooperative work environment. Vox goes to see Valentino, who's mad because Angel Dust moved into the Hazbin Hotel. See, Valentino has a contract with Angel Dust's soul, so he uses him as the star in all of his movies. He wants to attack the hotel, but Vox reminds him that doing so would be so bad for their image. Valentino then reveals that Alistair's at the hotel and uses one of his camera drones to show Vox live footage of the hotel, which isn't creepy at all. Back at the hotel, Alistair bests Sir Pentious without breaking a sweat. The dude's goated. Charlie calls him off so Sir Pentious lives to scheme another day. He also took a scrap off Alistair's coat before his defeat, which has the radio demon hightailing it to the nearest tailor. Al's got a reputation to maintain, you know. He's gotta look the part. When he leaves the hotel, an enraged Vox starts a broadcast to put him in the hot seat. He mocks Alistair on the live television for becoming irrelevant since his disappearance. Alistair notices the broadcast when he leaves the tailor, so he heads back to his radio station to get back on the air. With each of the overlords live, they roast each other for all of hell to hear. Alistair points out that Vox is only as powerful as he is because of the other V's help, and that he once asked Alistair to join the group. Their little rivalry stems from Alistair's refusal to team up. Vox gets so mad that he causes a citywide blackout, so it's safe to assume Alistair won that round. Drop that mic, Al. After his defeat, Vox doesn't waste any time trying to recover. He calls an emergency meeting at V Tower, where he and the other V's devise a plan to create a wedge between Alistair and Charlie. They wouldn't want their competition getting a line on the princess's soul, after all. That'd be bad for business. They decide to use Sir Pentious as a spy, assigning him to serve as their eyes and ears inside the hotel. Back at the hotel, Charlie and Vaggie have spent the day trying to find new hotel residents, with no luck. Angel Dust points out that everyone will want to spend their final days having as much fun as possible, so he's not holding his breath about getting a new neighbor. That's when Sir Pentious knocks on the door to ask for a second chance. Vaggie is suspicious because he did attack them that morning, but Charlie, being Charlie, welcomes him with open arms. Throughout the day, he does exercises and skits meant to help him become a better person. And I don't know, guys, he seems like a pro. Even Angel Dust gets jealous and goes to bed early, where he listens to a bunch of voicemails from Valentino. they're not of the nice variety. And to sum them up, he reminds Angel that there's no way he could be redeemed. Later that night, Angel goes downstairs to get a drink from the bar, but he finds Sir Pentious trying to hide a Voxtech camera. He calls him out for being a spy for the V's, and the two fight before they're interrupted by Charlie and Vaggie. Caught between a rock and a hard place, Sir Pentious uses a Voxtech watch to contact Vox, but the V's blatantly leave him for dead. Sir Pentious begs the others to make his death quick, but to his surprise, Charlie teaches him the importance of saying sorry instead. When she gives him another chance, Sir Pentious apologizes to everyone and officially joins the hotel. He leaves his watch behind, and when the group clears out of the room, Alistair appears from the shadows. He picks up the watch to speak to Vox.
What? You'll have to try harder than that next time, old pal.
Game, set, match. The third episode opens with Charlie celebrating Sir Pentious' first week at the hotel. She thinks he's made great progress, but Vaggie points out that he's still building weapons and preparing for fights. Right on cue, Sir Pentious arrives to sign for a delivery from Carmilla Carmine, an overlord whose company specializes in making weapons parts. Vaggie straight up bans him from inventing. She also tells him to get rid of his minions, these sentient little egg creatures who wreak havoc around the hotel. Aw, but they're actually really cute though. Elsewhere in the hotel, Alistair eats a deer for breakfast. Like, the entire thing. Yeah, his bedroom at the hotel is an eerie pocket dimension that looks like it belongs in the woods. Vaggie pops in to give him the egg boys, and Alistair agrees to take them with him when he's running errands. When Vaggie goes back downstairs, she finds Charlie planning a day full of trust-building exercises with the hotel residents. The catch? She wants Vaggie to take the lead. Vaggie does her best, but her approach to managing the group is acting like a drill sergeant. They start with a trust fall exercise, and they can't even handle that.
Sometimes I kill mother bugs in front of their children as a warning to others. Yay, pain!
Charlie watches her plan fall apart and starts to get discouraged before Angel Dust suggests a new plan. Meanwhile, Alistair attends a meeting with the other overlords to discuss their plans for the upcoming extermination. He leaves most of the egg boys at the door, but one of them sneaks in and eavesdrops on the meeting. The other overlords attending this meeting include the ancient demon named Zestial, Carmilla Carmine, a large demon named Zizi, the put-together and charming Rosie, and a music-loving demon named Maestro. Carmilla's daughters, Odette and Clara, also sit in on the meeting. The point is, there's a full house when Velvet storms in mid-meeting with the decapitated head of an exorcist. She brings undeniable proof that the angels can be killed by the most powerful sinners in hell, and demands that they supply demonkind with weapons for an uprising. Carmilla refuses because Velvet doesn't know how the angel was killed, meaning arming demons could be pointless if killing angels requires a specific tactic. Besides, inciting a war could result in heaven punishing them afterward. Carmella's the only one who protests the idea of arming the demons, so Velvet calls her out for knowing something about the dead exorcist. Carmilla then calls the meeting to a close, which only makes her look more suspicious. Like, girl, come on. As Carmilla returns to her office with her daughters and Zestial, Alistair finds the eavesdropping egg boy. He sends him after Carmilla to spy on her further and report back later. Back with the others, Angel Dust takes them to a club. While some of them are into it, it's definitely not Charlie's vibe. Vaggie gets fed up with the people hitting on her girlfriend and drags the hotel crew to an active battlefield, where she throws Angel Dust, Sir Pentious, and Nifty to the front lines in order to fight for their lives. I mean, that's one way to build bonds. Did anyone say shared trauma? Husk manages to run away before he gets thrown in too, but Charlie finally steps in. She and Vaggie get into an argument over Vaggie taking things too far, and Charlie goes off on her. The episode then cuts back to the egg boy, who successfully infiltrates the meeting between Carmilla and Zestial. Unlike the other overlords, who only tolerate one another because business requires it, these two seem to genuinely care for one another. I can't tell if they're friends, lovers, family, but it's a new dynamic that I need to see more of. Anyway, Carmilla admits that she killed the exorcist because it came for her daughters. However, she doesn't want anyone to know that she did so, because it'll lead to a war that threatens her loved ones. Unfortunately for her, Sir Pentious' egg boy is a snitch, who immediately reports back to Alistair. Alistair tucks that info away for later and warns the egg boy not to tell another soul. At the end of the day, Vaggie goes home to apologize, and Charlie's already there, and she forgives Vaggie, as her extreme exercise actually helped the others get along. Trauma bonding works every time, Alistair returns too, and having a change of heart, Vaggie returns the egg boys to Sir Pentious, which is just precious.
Why don't you give them back to Pentious?
Really?
When Sir Pentious goes to bed that night, his egg boy reveals that Carmilla killed an angel. But Sir Pentious brushes this off as nonsense. Dude, you gotta trust that egg, man. The 4th episode starts with Angel Dust showing the rest of the hotel crew one of his award-winning movies as one of Charlie's redemption exercises. The movie is pretty graphic, and the others aren't impressed, especially Husk, who calls Angel Dust out for acting fake. He goes on to say that as a bartender, he knows everyone's problems. Angel is fake, Sir Pentious feels insecure, Vaggie hates everyone because she hates herself, Charlie wants to solve everyone's problems except her own, and Nifty is just sadistic. His words, not mine. Angel Dust claps back, saying he's supposed to be fake because it's his job, when he gets a call from Valentino. Apparently, Valentino needs him for an emergency shoot, so he leaves their bonding exercise early. Charlie's upset that he leaves when the extermination day is close at hand, so Vaggie encourages her to use her authority as Hell's Princess to do something. For the record, I am so down for this. Considering the types of things we've heard Valentino say to Angel Dust so far, I would love it to see Charlie shut him down. Go get him, girl. At the movie set, Angel Dust is forced into a compromising scene while trying to memorize an entire script. It's clearly not a great time, but then Charlie arrives, which only makes things even worse. Angel Dust tries to make her leave, but she sticks around, insistent that she talks to Valentino after the shoot day is over. Valentino welcomes her, but he shoots an angry look Angel Dust's way, which isn't a good sign. During the shoot, Charlie distracts the camera crew by telling them about the Hazbin Hotel, trips over cords, and starts a small fire. Enraged, Valentino pulls Angel Dust into a dressing room where he throws him around and pulls up his contract, reminding him of who he belongs to.
In that.
No.
When I say come, you say
Yes, Valentino.
Valentino then threatens to hurt Charlie unless Angel Dust gets her to leave, so that they can continue working through the night. When Angel Dust returns, Charlie notices his new injuries and partially transforms, threatening Valentino with her demon form. To my disappointment, Angel Dust tells her to leave because she's making things worse. Charlie, feeling guilty and realizing how bad Angel Dust has it, leaves the movie shoot in tears. When Angel Dust returns to the hotel the next day, he goes straight to the bar. He looks like the cat dragged him in, and Husk notices. So Angel Dust puts a smile on and tries to flirt with him. Of course, Husk calls him out on being fake again, leading to a massive meltdown from Angel Dust that ends up with him storming out. Charlie and Vaggie catch the end of their argument and send Husk to follow Angel Dust to make sure he comes back in one piece. Husk finds him at a dive bar, drowning his memories at the bottom of a bottle. Strangers surround him, and Husk notices one of them drugging Angel Dust's drink, so he steps in to save him. Husk eventually gets Angel Dust away from the others and drags him outside where Angel Dust breaks down.
And this is my escape, where I can forget about it all, how much I hate everything.
That's some pretty heavy stuff, and as it turns out, Husk can relate. Husk reveals that he was an overlord who gambled with souls he obtained. He eventually lost everything as his gambling addiction worsened, making him desperate enough to gamble his own soul to Alistair. He knows what it's like to be trapped by someone else. And wait, are they trauma bonding again? The boys sing a duet about how much their lives suck, and then they beat the crap out of those demons from the bar, and this is probably the most fun either of them have had in years, and they're better for it. Afterward, they go back to the Hazbin Hotel, where Charlie apologizes to Angel Dust, who thanks her for caring for him. Is it just me, or is the redemption plan actually working little by little? The 5th episode opens with Vaggie alone in bed, and she makes her way to the hotel lobby, where she finds the others watching Charlie in the midst of a panic attack. She frantically makes plans to speedrun redemption, as 5 months have now passed with no success, and the extermination date is fast approaching. He suggests she finally call the big guns, Lucifer. Charlie isn't keen on asking her dad for help, and it's obvious they've got a pretty strained relationship. But when she realizes he can arrange a meeting with Heaven's most powerful, she puts her pride aside for the sake of the sinners. We then cut to Lucifer's home, and I guarantee he's not what you were expecting. Look at this guy.
Presenting the magic-tastical, back-flipping rubber duck! That spits fire!
He looks like he should be the ringleader of a circus that only employs ducks. He's a hermit who lives in total isolation, but despite that, he's stoked to get a call from Charlie. He plays it cool, and he drops everything to visit her. I don't know what's standing between them, but this guy's the biggest girl dad on Earth. Or, under it. Charlie's got him wrapped around her finger and she doesn't even know it. Since Lucifer's not too keen on the idea of setting up a meeting with Heaven, Charlie and the others prepare the hotel to really wow him with their redemption plan. Alistair shows up while they're decorating, and he's definitely interested in meeting the King of Hell. I get the feeling that he doesn't have too many public appearances. When Lucifer arrives, Charlie introduces him to her friends, but he gets into a weird feud with Alistair over who is the best for Charlie. Alistair even claims to view Charlie as the daughter he never had, which puts him at the top of Lucifer's list. What's worse is that Charlie can't disagree with Alistair because he's been the one helping her, unlike her absent father. Before the daddy issues can escalate, one of Alistair's old friends, a woman named Mimsy, arrives. She says she's just dropping by to say hello, and oddly enough, Alistair is happy to see her. They knew each other when they were still alive too, so they go way back. Charlie takes Lucifer on a tour of the hotel with Alistair tagging along. Meanwhile, Mimsy stays behind to drink with the others. She tells them that when Alistair first arrived in Hell, he made a name for himself by devouring the souls of other overlords and broadcasting their tortured screams for everyone in Hell to hear. That's actually pretty creepy if you ask me. But she assures the hotel crew that he's not that bad. Husk goes to catch up with Alistair because he knows that whenever Mimsy shows up, she needs something. When Alistair dismisses his worries, Husk gets brave, and he reminds Alistair that he's on a short leash too, which sends Alistair into a fury like no other.
I will tear your soul apart and broadcast your screams for every other disrespectful wretch who dares to question me.
Understood?
Lovely.
Husk backs off after this, and, I honestly can't blame him. Alistair might try to devour his soul if he's not careful. Don't think I didn't clock Al's rage, though. People only get mad when they have something to hide. After the tour, Lucifer refuses to arrange a meeting with Heaven. He doesn't seem convinced that redemption will work, and he doesn't want Charlie to be disappointed by the angels like he was. It's around this time that a group of demons, literally called loan sharks, roll up to the hotel for Mimsy. She scammed them out of hella money and hit one of their girlfriends with a car. Obviously, they start attacking everyone in the hotel because Mimsy's using them as a cover. Alistair handles the situation by going full demon mode. He eats up these demons too. Man must be starved. Didn't we see him eating an entire deer last episode? Yeesh. Lucifer uses Alistair's violence as evidence for why the redemption will never work. But Charlie points out that Alistair is only defending the hotel because he believes in her. When Alistair finishes up with the sharks, he confronts Mimsy for bringing danger to the hotel, and he tells her to leave and never come back, unless she plans to give redemption a shot. Yeah, she's out of there pretty quick. In the aftermath of the attack, Charlie pleads with Lucifer one last time. Lucifer explains that Heaven never listens, and breaks into a song about how they condemned him for sharing his dreams with the world. Charlie joins in, explaining that she got her lofty dreams and ambition from him, and that she'll continue to fight for her people no matter what. Lucifer, realizing that he's held his daughter back by not helping her sooner, finally agrees to arrange the meeting. The 6th episode opens with Charlie packing for a trip to Heaven. Vaggie tries to come up with an excuse to get out of going, but Charlie insists she needs her girlfriend there for moral support. In the lobby, Angel Dust returns from a 16-hour shift with Valentino when Cherry Bomb blows a hole through the hotel. She wants to take Angel Dust out for a night on the town, but Charlie comes downstairs and overhears her plans. She pays Cherry to take the rest of the hotel crew with her for the night, before she and Vaggie leave for their meeting. We cut to them at Heaven's front gates, where they meet St. Peter. He doesn't want to let them in because they're not in his big book of good souls. And Charlie low-key freaks him out when she drops her Morningstar name. Fortunately, the rulers of Heaven, Sarah and her little sister Emily, show up to give our girls the grand tour. Heaven's all sunshine and rainbows. There's no crime or violence in Heaven, and it's designed to have everything a human could want and more in their afterlife. Charlie and Emily are cut from the same cloth. Seriously, it's like they're long-lost sisters or something. As Emily gives the group a tour, Adam and Lute happen to pass by, and they can't believe the Princess of Hell had the nerve to show her face in Heaven. Adam wants to pick a fight right then and there, but Lute reminds him that only they, Sarah, and the other exorcists know about the exterminations. Great, I love it when the leader of Heaven orders a mass genocide in secret. Sarah overhears their conversation and teleports the pair to a private room where she orders them to make the Charlie problem disappear before she makes things worse. Sometime later, Vaggie finds herself alone in her hotel room while Charlie goes to the zoo with Emily. Adam and Lute pay her an unwelcome visit, and they tell her to make Charlie give up on redemption and leave Heaven. Otherwise, they'll tell everyone that Vaggie is an angel. As it turns out, Vaggie used to be one of the best exorcists, but she refused to kill a child sinner during an extermination 3 years before. Lute and Adam ripped off her wings and took her eye as punishment, before leaving her for dead. Charlie found Vaggie shortly after and nursed her back to health. Fortunately, Vaggie thinks Charlie's dream is too important to jeopardize, so she refuses to help Adam. And when it comes time for Charlie's meeting, she and Vaggie stand in a conference room filled with high-ranking angels. Adam dismisses redemption from the get-go, but Charlie insists that their current patron, Angel Dust, is making great progress. No one knows what gets a soul into heaven, but Adam gives his guesses. You have to act selflessly, you can't steal, and you have to stick it to the man. Charlie suggests that Angel Dust is doing all those things as we speak. So the angels use a magical orb to spy on the hotel crew's night out, and Angel Dust is having a lousy time and complaining about work. Cherry tries to get him to drink and party, to Husk's dismay.
Look, the drunk sobered up long enough to judge us.
I ain't the one trying to get into heaven. Look, you want to fuck up all your progress? Be my guest.
Angel Dust gives in when Sir Pentious buys shots for everyone while trying to impress Cherry. Adam tries to call it there, but Emily convinces the other angels to keep watching. At the bar, a drunk Nifty finds chlorine and bleach in a storage closet. Angel stops her from stealing it, even though doing so upsets Nifty. He brings her back to the group, but notices that Valentino has arrived. Nifty slips away to talk with Valentino, who takes an interest in her. Angel Dust doesn't hesitate. He goes to rescue Nifty while telling Valentino to leave her alone. Valentino slaps Angel Dust for the entire bar to see and promises to make him pay for this insubordination during their next shoot. Angel Dust doesn't care. It probably felt good to tell such an asshole off, and he leaves the bar with his friends. He tries to invite Cherry to stay at the hotel, but she's not sold on the idea of redemption. She spends the night with a stranger instead, which totally makes Sir Pentious jealous. Back in heaven, Charlie points out how Angel Dust did everything on Adam's checklist by helping Nifty. However, when Adam points out that he did everything but still didn't appear in heaven, it became clear that why souls ascend is a complete mystery. As Charlie continues to question heaven's authority, Adam accidentally lets slip the existence of the exterminations, shocking everybody. Emily stands by Charlie's side and they call out heaven's cruelty and hypocrisy. Running out of cards to play, Adam and Lute tell Charlie that Vaggie's actually an angel before throwing them through a portal back home. Meanwhile, Sarah calls the meeting to a close and reminds Emily that it's her job to make the hard decisions when it's time to protect their people. She then warns Emily to stop asking questions before she ends up a fallen angel like Lucifer. The 7th episode starts with Vaggie at the hotel, and she's coming clean to her other friends about her angelhood. Obviously, they've got lots of questions, but their primary concern is heaven breathing down their necks. Vaggie reassures them that Charlie is probably upstairs and coming up with a plan as they speak. In reality, she's wallowing in her failure and preparing for the inevitable attack. Alistair comes to bother her, sensing an opportunity. He teases her for being so down and out and offers her a solution. He finally puts the Egg Boy's eavesdropping to good use and tells Charlie that there is a way to defeat the exorcists, and that he's willing to share it with her for a price. Charlie agrees to make a deal with him in exchange for the information. Instead of trading her soul, she owes Alistair one favor at a time of his choosing. He can ask her to do anything except harm another person. The Princess of Hell making a deal with the radio demon creates a wave of magical energy that rips through the hotel, alerting the others. Vaggie runs upstairs and nearly attacks Alistair before Charlie orders her to recruit Carmilla Carmine. Meanwhile, she and Alistair will focus their efforts on building an army. Alistair takes Charlie to a palace called Cannibal Town. Name aside, the place is alright. There's no crime, no active war zones, and no blood in the streets.
Ooh, this is nice! Girl! This all this is you right here? Okay. They don't smell like roaches in here or nothing.
Alistair introduces Charlie to Rosie, the overlord who runs the town. She's a doll from the 1920s, and she runs a tight ship while lending an ear to her followers. She's almost too delightful, especially because she and Alistair are as thick as thieves. What matters is that she agrees to help Charlie so long as Charlie can convince the other cannibals to join the fight. Meanwhile, Vaggie goes to the Carmine factory where Carmilla confronts her. Vaggie gets 2 minutes to plead her case, but Carmilla refuses to give up how she killed an exorcist. She explains that she kept it a secret to avoid fighting with heaven in the first place. In Cannibal Town, Rosie summons her followers to a gazebo in the middle of the square. She warns Charlie that to win over anyone, she has to win over everyone, noting that there's a particularly stubborn old woman. Charlie tries giving a rousing speech, but the old woman, Susan, heckles her off the stage. Rosie drags Charlie off for a quick pep talk. Back at the Carmine factory, Carmilla attacks Vaggie, the pair getting into a fast-paced duel that shows Vaggie all of her own weaknesses. Carmilla gets the upper hand on Vaggie and explains that by knowing her weaknesses in combat, she knows the exorcist's weaknesses. Yeah, Carmilla knew she was an angel all along. and claim that it was kind of obvious because Vaggy's signature weapon is an angelic spear. Carmela goes on to train Vaggy in combat, helping her gain confidence and regrow her wings. I'm not sure how that works.
Look at that. You might just survive this.
We're gonna need more weapons.
Slay, I guess. Back with Rosie and Charlie, Charlie opens up about her relationship problems. Rosie reminds her that everyone in hell is hiding something about their past, and that actions often speak louder than words. Charlie realizes that Vaggy supports and loves her, despite their differences. Feeling better, Charlie gives her war speech another shot. As Alistair predicted, the cannibals agreed to help Charlie in return for food. And she accepts their terms because what choice does she have? She leads them all back to the hotel while singing a song about coming into her own as the Princess of Hell. Alistair and Rosie also have a verse in which they discuss getting close to Charlie and honing her power into something they can use. You know, typical demon stuff. By the end of the day, Charlie brings the cannibal army to the Hazbin Hotel, and Vaggy brings back some angelic weapons from Carmela. Apparently, angels can be killed by their own weapons, so Carmela collects the ones they leave behind after each extermination. The two groups meet at the front of the hotel, with Charlie and Vaggy reconciling before the battle ahead. When they go inside, they are surprised to find their friends fortifying the hotel, but it looks like everyone is ready for war. The season finale opens right where we left off. The hotel crew and Rosie's cannibals work together to fortify the hotel, while Charlie gives a pre-battle speech. Although she doesn't know what the future holds, she makes sure everyone knows how much she appreciates them. She then encourages them to spend their last night before battle however they want. Of course, the others take her up on that, with many sitting around the hotel lobby, sharing in good company, and even better drinks. Sir Pentious almost works up the nerve to tell Cherry Bomb about his crush on her, but chickens out at the last second. Fortunately, Angel Dust is there to play the wingman and encourages Cherry Bomb to give the poor guy a chance. Upstairs, Vaggy consoles Charlie as she starts to spiral. Charlie worries that she's leading everyone to their deaths, but Vaggy reminds her that even if they manage to redeem one person, all of their hard work will have been worth it. Oh, and by the way, Vox spies on the hotel with his freaky cameras all night. He probably watched them all season like they were his personal reality TV show. I'm sure he has nothing better to do with his time, and that the other Vs don't mind picking up his slack. The next day, the exorcists arrive, bright and early for the extermination. To keep their army at bay, Alistair places a force field around the hotel, trapping some of the angels inside to be picked off by his allies one by one. Sir Pentious used the materials from Carmela to create advanced angelic weapons, giving himself and the others an edge in the battle. We finally get to see Adam put his money where his mouth is, as he creates a hole in the force field with a single strike. As the rest of his army descends on the hotel, he aims to take Alistair out. We get a blow-for-blow battle between two of the most powerful characters in the series, and Alistair can hardly keep up. That's right, the same guy who has defended the hotel numerous times, devours Overlord's souls, and purposely got on Lucifer's bad side, can't defeat Adam. In fact, Adam manages to land a critical blow on Alistair, not only breaking his signature staff in two, but also slicing right through his chest. Backed into a corner, Alistair saves his own skin by fleeing the battle. Adam then joins the main battle, breaking up his enemies and discouraging their defenses by raining down bolts of holy light on the field. Without Alistair there to tank for them, the hotel crew are all sitting ducks. So Sir Pentious takes one for the team. He finally confesses his love to Cherry Bomb, pulling her into a passionate kiss before using his airship to attack Adam. Realistically, being struck with an airship cannon should hurt anyone, but Adam made the ship disappear with a snap of his fingers. Sir Pentious is there 1 second and then gone the next, just removed from existence, along with his loyal egg boys. After witnessing a friend die, Charlie goes all Super Saiyan on Adam's ass. She goes into her demon form and rides into battle with Vaggy, riding her family pets, Razzle and Dazzle, as mounts. They both go for Adam, but Loot shoots Vaggy down, sending her tumbling to the hotel lobby. Charlie tries to save Vaggy, but Adam throws her into the hotel sign instead, effectively separating the two. It would have been a badass fight with the two of them, I'll admit. They needed nerfed. As Charlie struggles to break away from Adam, Loot and Vaggy go head-to-head in the hotel's rubble. They're not pulling their punches, so to escape Loot, Vaggy traps her under falling debris. To escape, Loot drags herself from the debris, even though doing so requires ripping her arm off. Since Adam and Loot kept the heavy hitters at bay, it doesn't take long for the other exorcists to surround the remainder of the hotel crew. As they start to lose ground, Adam grabs Charlie by the neck, dangling her high above for everyone to see. Just as all hope seems lost, Lucifer appears and knocks Adam into the hotel sign, freeing Charlie. A battle ensues between humanity's first angel and the Morningstars, and let's just say Adam never stood a chance. Just as Adam can't take another hit, he breaks down, bellowing that the fight's not over yet. To my surprise and literal horror, Charlie stops Lucifer from attacking because she wants to show mercy. And it's at this point I can't help wondering why Charlie isn't living it up in heaven, because she's an absolute saint. Anyway, Lucifer doesn't kill Adam, but while the confrontation continues, no one notices Nifty as she sneaks up from behind. She manages to stab Adam with an angelic dagger, and the direct hit is enough to take him down for good. Lute, seeing her general and friend wounded, rushes to his side. She begs him to stay alive, but he dies in her arms instead. It's a massive loss for heaven. I doubt they have many angels willing to do the work Adam did. But Lucifer sends the remaining exorcists home, telling them that the extermination day is canceled. After the battle, Charlie walks through the ruins of the Hazbin Hotel, mourning the loss of every ally. Sir Pentious' death hits her especially hard because he was her friend. Lucifer confronts her, giving her a stellar pep talk that comes from being not only her dad, but also the ruler of an entire unforgiving realm. He tells her the show must go on, and then he uses his powers to help her rebuild the hotel. With the help from the other characters, they make the Hazbin Hotel bigger and better than before. Meanwhile, at V-Tower, the V's celebrate Alistair's disappearance. What jerks. They watched the battle from afar as if it were a TV special, not happening down the street. They're overlords. They could have lent a helping hand. They're just excited that a major player got taken down, creating a power vacuum that they can exploit. Demons. They're always looking out for their own self-interests. Unfortunately for them, Alistair is just fine. He dragged himself back to his radio tower to tend to his wounds. He goes on a rant about being held back by someone else and needing to find a way to escape his deal. It seems like Husk was right on the money. Alistair's soul is bound to someone else. But who? That's not the only shocking revelation. Up in heaven, Sarah and Emily have their tea time interrupted by Sir Pentious blinking into existence. Only this time, he has a sick new look, dressed in all white and sporting some wings. That's right, our boy got redeemed, and all he had to do was sacrifice his life for his friends. While they lose their minds over Sir Pentious, Lute keeps busy by visiting Lilith. You know, the Queen of Hell, who's been missing for years? Yeah, that Lilith, and tells her about Adam's death. She dubs herself the new leader of the exorcists, and says that Lilith answers to her now, insisting she do something about Charlie and the Hazbin Hotel if she wants to stay in heaven. Family can be so complicated, can't it? The first episode of the second season opens with a news broadcast with Katie Killjoy and Tom Trench discussing how the Hazbin Hotel saved their lives during the last extermination, but heaven is yet to respond. They have asked Charlie to come on the show, but she's declined to comment. Katie promises to wear her down and get her in the studio to answer their burning questions. Meanwhile, the Hazbin Hotel's packed with new residents, so much so that the staff can barely keep up. Unfortunately, most demons believe they're there to join Charlie's personal army and not get redeemed. Upstairs, Charlie and the lone survivor of the Egg Boys mourn Sir Pentious. Vaggie finds her near tears and tries to comfort her. Of course, Charlie puts on a brave face and insists she's fine before going to meet the hotel's new guest. Yes, the face of someone who is perfectly fine.
This is Pentious' death ray. He'd want you to have it.
He invented the best things.
Back at the news station, Vox barges in. He threatens Katie and Tom for their positive articles about Charlie in the Hazbin Hotel, reminding them that they're supposed to be digging up dirt and getting him a messy headline. Fortunately, Vox thinks he can spin this story in his favor and tells them to be ready to deliver some breaking news that night. At the Hazbin Hotel, Charlie realizes her guests are there to fight angels, everyone but Baxter, a mad scientist who wants to watch redemption from up close. Charlie calls him Sir Pentious, which he hates, because the pair seem to have a history together. She then dives into a song to teach everyone about redemption, but they're not into it at all. Worst of all, the others can't help her, and even Alistair refuses to lend a hand. As the new residents and reporters who are there to gather information for Vox start asking difficult questions, Charlie gets overwhelmed. Fortunately, her dear old dad is there to teleport her out of trouble. We cut back to V-Tower, where Vox plays with his pet shark, Shockwave, before turning around to find Velvet and Valentino there for a meeting. He calls them out for their past behaviors, like picking a fight with Carmela Carmine and publicly hurting a celebrity like Angel Dust, because it ruins their image. He insists that their Vox Tech brand needs to be perfect, because he wants to use the chaos at the Hazbin Hotel to launch a revolt against Heaven, with himself at the forefront. Apparently Vox thinks he has what it takes to overthrow Heaven and become the new big guy in charge. Going to war with Heaven is a pretty big deal, but it's the last thing on Charlie's mind. We cut back to her in Lucifer's room, as he's now living at the hotel. They talk about the hardships of leadership and how much they miss Lilith, and that the show must go on. Charlie leaves their talk with a little more pep in her step and tries to call Lilith. Of course, her mom doesn't pick up. Downstairs, Vaggie sits at the bar and contemplates taking on a new name because Adam originally named her, and it's low-key kind of degrading. I mean, I wasn't gonna say anything, but it's not a name I would ever give my kids. Charlie returns and tells everyone to leave unless they're really there to redeem themselves. The hotel empties within seconds, leaving our usual crew with the additions of Lucifer and Baxter. That evening, Vaggie finds Charlie outside, overlooking the ruins of the original hotel. Charlie admits that the hardest part of the battle was not getting to say goodbye to Sir Pentious. His death is hitting her hard, so Vaggie offers to take over management duties until Charlie feels up to dealing with people. The episode ends with Emily popping in unannounced to tell Charlie that Heaven is under lockdown and that Sir Pentious is alive. Hooray! The second episode of the second season starts with Sir Pentious. He's chained to the floor before the Council of Angels, and things aren't looking too good for him.
We shouldn't be worried about this. We should be making things right. We need to make things right. We need to go down and talk to Charlie.
The Angels can't decide what to do with a redeemed soul, and they're totally freaked out by it. Emily wants to contact Charlie, and Lute intends to kill him on the spot, and Sarah thinks he's lying to everyone. The Chaos summons a beautiful angel known simply as the Speaker of God. The other angels revere her, including Sarah, so she takes control of the meeting. The Speaker tells Sir Pentious to tell them his story, and we dive into a flashback of his human life. When he was alive, Sir Pentious had difficulty connecting with others. Instead, he spent his time indoors with his inventions. One of his favorite pastimes included people watching from his window, and that's how he witnessed a brutal murder in the street one night. He recognized the murderer, but too scared to say anything, he never reported him. The murderer went on to kill 5 more women, while Sir Pentious took his identity to the grave. When in hell, Sir Pentious couldn't stand by and do nothing when his friends' lives were endangered. When he sacrificed his life to save theirs, he repented for his original sin, redeeming himself. The angels realize that he really is a redeemed soul, and Sarah allows him to live among them. Lute can't believe that they're letting a former demon walk the streets, but no one will take her concerns seriously. Emily, meanwhile, is put in charge of making sure Sir Pentious feels at home. Alongside St. Peter and Adam's son Abel, who is much nicer than his dad, Emily gives Sir Pentious the tour of heaven. During the tour, he tries various ways to get back to hell and his friends, but without success. By the end of the day, Sir Pentious finds himself in a deep depression. While his tour happens, Sarah stays behind to talk with the Speaker in private. She questions her former decisions, horrified that she condemned so many sinners to death when they could have redeemed themselves. She wants to know how to redeem herself after spilling so much blood, but the Speaker tells her that only she can figure that out. For now, she needs to learn from her mistake and keep moving forward. Outside, Lute stumbles into an alley where a hallucination of Adam confronts her. She's lost it, folks. Worse yet, she was in love with the bastard. Since nobody will take her revenge plot seriously, she decides to take matters into her own hands. Sarah holds a meeting with Abel, who she actually named the new leader of the Exorcists, and Peter, for some reason, as they try to decide what to do next. Abel says he would prefer avoiding violence, but they would support whatever she chose before leaving.
Thank you both. You may go. This is my decision to make.
Whatever choice you make, Your Highness, Heaven will be behind you.
At the same time, Emily and Sir Pentious are out getting ice cream. Sir Pentious tries to make a new egg boy out of robotic parts, so Emily uses her angelic powers to conjure one. With his egg boys returned, Sir Pentious is happy for the first time since getting to heaven, and he finally starts to view Emily as a friend. Lute is so far from being a friend. She's back in Adam's old office destroying everything in sight, and that's when she breaks into the best song of the season and vows to get revenge by killing Vaggie. That way, Charlie can know the pain she feels. The episode ends with Emily taking Sir Pentious to his new house, where she painted a mural of his old friends on the wall. She's literally the sweetest, she's the blueprint that all angels should follow. As they talk, they notice a force field being put around heaven, as Sarah starts to put the realm on lockdown. That's when Emily pops through a portal to tell Charlie that redemption is possible. The third episode of this second season picks up where we left off with Charlie. She runs downstairs to tell everybody about Emily, Sir Pentious, and redemption. None of them can believe that the hotel actually worked. But their celebration is cut short when Charlie notices a VoxTech blimp outside with a false ad about her. She decides to invite VoxTech's best reporter into the hotel so she can set the record straight and tell them about Sir Pentious, believing that will be enough to get the V's off her back. What she doesn't expect is for Vox and Velvet to show up at their door for their exclusive interview with the Princess of Hell. Yeah, Angel Dust isn't too happy to see the V's inside the hotel because he knows they're bad news. Vaggie seems to agree with him, and Alistair dips out entirely. He's in a bad mood because he got hurt in the last season's final battle. So he's really not bothering to deal with anyone, especially Vox. Charlie ignores all her friends' warnings and quickly gets overwhelmed by the V's, leading questions that paint her in a bad light. When she refuses to continue their interview, Vox and Velvet are about to leave, until Charlie promises to prove that redemption is possible then and there. You might be asking yourself, now hold on, how is she going to do that when she doesn't know why Sir Pentious was redeemed in the first place? And the answer, I regret to inform you, is by dragging Angel Dust into her schemes. She and Husk convince him to do everything possible to get redeemed, including feeding the poor, giving up alcohol, helping the elderly, dressing more modestly, and so on. When those things don't work, Charlie makes him dress and act like Sir Pentious before coming to the conclusion that an act of self-sacrifice must be the answer. In her final attempt to redeem Angel Dust, she makes a train track around the outside of the hotel, puts a spear in front of the train, and then ties Husk to the tracks. She dresses as a nefarious villain who happens to have an off switch for the train in case things go wrong.
I shouldn't have said nothing.
Angel Dust, meanwhile, is the hero meant to save Husk, but he backs out at the last second because the whole thing just feels ridiculous. Charlie tries to stop the train, but the remote control won't work. Vox reveals that he cut the brakes because, of course he did. Charlie starts to panic, and Nifty can't stop the train from the conductor's seat. And again, Husk is still tied to the tracks. Literally, why the hell did she do that? Angel Dust hears everyone shouting and comes back outside. When he learns that Husk is in real danger, he jumps onto the tracks to try and free him. When he can't, he stands in front of the train. Fortunately, Vaggie flies in and saves them all at the last second. Although, all is well, Husk starts an argument with Angel Dust for trying to save his life. He can't believe that Angel would do something so reckless. Meanwhile, Angel Dust points out that he was only doing this redemption plan because Husk insisted. Husk fires back, saying he only insisted because he knows how much Angel Dust wants to be redeemed. Husk ultimately storms off, but the tension is thick with these two. I don't know about you, but I'm sensing a romance brewing. Charlie, trying to figure out why redeeming Angel Dust didn't work, realizes that she was trying to copy Sir Pentious, when in reality, he likely had different sins from Angel Dust. She asks Angel Dust to share his original sin with her, but he refuses. And that's when Vox steps in. He says it might be hard to redeem a murderer. He backs Angel Dust into a corner while asking him questions about his dad.
That's no way to speak to a guest. You asked! I answered.
You can shit on me. You can mock me, but I won't allow you to push my friends around like that, okay?
Charlie summons her true form, kicking the V's out. She tries to apologize to Angel Dust afterward, but he wants to be left alone. Later, Cherry Bomb returns to the hotel and takes a key and decides to become a permanent resident. She ends the episode by going to keep Angel Dust company. While he's got something going with Husk, she's had a subplot in this episode where she realizes she could be in love with Sir Pentious. Ooh, drama! The fourth episode of the second season opens with Vaggie trying to talk Charlie out of an interview with Katie Killjoy. Charlie thinks a live interview can't be manipulated to make her look bad. Sure, Charlie, whatever you say. Vox released a documentary on the Hazbin Hotel, making Charlie look like a crazed dictator who wants to doom all sinners. She wants to clear her bad name, and for some reason, she's taking Nifty with her as backup. In Alistair's room, we find him leaning over a mirror with his shirt unbuttoned. He has some gnarly stitches from his fight with Adam, and he downs a bottle of whiskey to deal with the pain. He's been pretty hands-off all season, and it's clear to see that he's angry. I wouldn't want to be on his bad side, but Lucifer doesn't get the memo. When Alistair goes downstairs to join the others in the lounge, he and Lucifer start to trade quips with one another. Eventually, Alistair finally snaps and announces that he quits before walking out of the hotel. I guess Lucifer can take his place as the hotel's bodyguard and host, but he's 10 times less threatening when he dresses like that and carries around rubber ducks. At the news station, Katie Killjoy pulls Charlie in for an interview, and she eats our girl alive. I'm being so serious right now. Charlie can barely get a word out without Katie twisting her meaning or saying something absurd to throw Charlie off. At the same time, Katie plays up Vox, making him seem like a saint. As for Alistair, after he leaves the hotel, he makes his way to Cannibal Town to drop in on Rosie. It looks like a pleasant visit. These two are genuinely best friends. At least that's what the first season led us to believe. As they sit down for tea together, Alistair reveals that he quit the hotel. Rosie doesn't like that, and in the politest way possible, she reminds Alistair that she's the one who calls the shots. Wait, hold on, what? Now that's a plot twist there. Rosie reminds Alistair of when they first met, in life. He was a prolific serial killer who dabbled in dark magic. He knew where he was going when he died, so he summoned a demon to make a deal. Rosie is the one who answered. In return for being the strongest sinner in hell, Alistair would work for Rosie until he retrieved something for her. Alistair agreed, only to be mistaken for a deer the next day while hiding a body. A hunter shot him, killing him on the spot. Since that day, Alistair has worked for Rosie. I think he lucked out, honestly. She's still pretty delightful and polite. He could have ended up with literally any other demon. Anyway, Rosie wants him to keep helping Charlie because having the Princess of Hell on speed dial is a pretty big deal. Alistair agrees so long as she'll fix his staff, but she won't even do that much. You know what? I think that's a good call. Alistair's kind of getting vengeful. Knocking him down a power level might be the best for everybody's safety. Alistair leaves his meeting with Rosie more frustrated than before. Sitting on a park bench, he considers a way to break his contract with her while keeping his power. Then the camera pans to a statue of the Morningstar family just behind him, and he laughs. I have chills about this one. Alistair has a plan, and it involves Charlie. I also have a sneaking suspicion he's going to cash in that favor she owes him from last season. Back at the news station, Charlie is down for the count. She can't think of anything to say or to do to salvage the interview, so she coaches Nifty to tell everyone why she loves the hotel. Nifty bursts into song, singing most of the lyrics in Japanese. The parts in English also paint the hotel in a very bad light, leaving Charlie in a puddle of her own tears. Sometime later, Alistair makes his way over to the entertainment district of the city. He calls out to Vox, goading him to come down for a chat. Vox takes the bait, and the two of them get into a brutal fight then and there. It's actually pretty hype. We know Alistair to be a powerhouse on a typical day, but now he's wounded, and the other Vs appear to make it a 3v1. Despite that, Alistair manages to hold his own, which is pretty damn impressive. Unfortunately, it's evident to Vox that he won't hold out for long. At the news station, they get live footage of the overlords fighting downtown. Nifty and Alistair actually get along, and seeing that he's in danger, she books it back to the hotel to get Husk. She then carries Husk to the fight and throws him into the middle of it, and they both come to Alistair's defense. Unfortunately, our three faves got overpowered by the Vs, and when Alistair notices Valentino is seconds away from shooting Nifty, he calls off the fight. He offers Vox a deal. Al will become his prisoner if Vox meets two conditions.
Let these irrelevant little nobodies run along home. But more importantly, you're not to lay your hands on Charlie Morningstar.
Oh, he really does care. There's some humanity in that dark heart of his after all. Vox doesn't give a damn about Charlie, so he readily agrees, taking Alistair captive. He goes straight to the news station, kicking everyone out so that he can broadcast his win across hell. Charlie's horrified to see Alistair so helpless. Still, there's ultimately nothing she can do as he's shuttled from interview to interview, dragged around town on a parade float, and forced to watch Vox's every activity. At the end of the day, Alistair eventually calls Vox out for being weak. He recalls a time decades ago when Vox was an up-and-coming overlord who still went by the name Vincent. At the time, Vox believed he and Alistair could take over hell together, combining their persuasive powers of radio and television. It's also obvious that Vox had a crush on Alistair. Instead of blushing, his screen went static, and then he asks him to team up. Unsurprisingly, Alistair crushed his dreams by laughing in his face, ridiculing him and calling him weak for relying on others. Oh, okay, I see now why Vox is holding a grudge. In the present, Alistair says Vox is still weak because he relies on Valentino and Velvet. Decades later, it looks like he still knows exactly what to say to get under Vox's skin. In the 5th episode of the 2nd season, Katie Killjoy reports on Alistair's defeat, which the other overlords celebrate. Vox uses the news to win most of them over, convincing them to join the Vs and try to overthrow Heaven. The only overlords who refuse to join them are Carmilla and Zestial. Mad respect to those two, honestly. Back at the Hazbin Hotel, Charlie is standing on a balcony while waving around lights to try and get Heaven's attention. She's at the end of her rope with this uprising situation, and it's even worse because Vox has turned all of hell against her. Vaggie comes out to calm her down, but Charlie refuses to take a break. She needs Heaven to answer because it's the only way to get Vox to stand down. Vaggie doesn't think Heaven will help them, so she goes to recruit the next best thing. Lucifer's not expecting guests, as he's living in his own world up there. Seriously, look at this bedroom.
Wow, you really wasted no time, huh, sir?
I know how much he dislikes the sinners for misusing their free will, so I wonder if his duck utopia is a knockoff version of heaven. Or maybe he really likes ducks. Is this guy Hugh Neutron? Who am I to judge? Anyway, Lucifer doesn't watch the news, go outside, or talk to anyone, so he has no idea that Vox has dragged Charlie's reputation through the mud. When Vaggie brings it to his attention, he agrees to scare some sense into Vox. Unfortunately, he can't actually hurt him. Apparently, the angels not only trapped Lucifer in hell, but they also made him incapable of hurting sinners. Okay, I take back everything I said. Lucifer being a shut-in makes complete sense now, like total complete sense. I'll leave the sad duck man alone now. Back on the hotel balcony, Charlie collapses from exhaustion. However, it turns out that angels are watching her from a crystal ball. Sarah, Abel, Lute, Emily, and Sir Pentious gather in a meeting room to discuss how they should approach the unrest in hell. Emily and Abel think they should apologize to sinners with gift baskets. Their suggestion is genuine, but it's also so laughable. Are they really going to apologize for the exterminations with gift baskets? That'll only make things worse. Of course, Sir Pentious points out that amending things starts with saying sorry, so Sarah goes to meet with Charlie. Meanwhile, at Vox Tower, the V's prepare for a rally to convince their followers to revolt against Heaven. Vox is taking Alistair everywhere he goes because he needs to show off. So Alistair takes the opportunity to dig in deeper. He starts ranting about how useful Velvet and Valentino are to their company, while Vox does nothing to help them. Vox disagrees, pointing out that he's the face of Vox Tech. Without him, none of this would be possible. Suddenly insecure, he orders Valentino to stay backstage with Velvet, kicking them out of the rally. Alistair's having the time of his life. He's just sitting around, sowing discord and chaos with every word. The rally begins and Vox comes on stage to an amped audience, but Lucifer quickly one-ups him. Sure, he can't hurt the sinners, but he can put on a show. He doesn't need to hurt anyone when he comes in with his demon form, an inferno of fire, and with a growl in his voice. Honestly, I'm kind of shaking in my boots, but Vox doesn't give a shit. He stares Lucifer down with a smile and in front of everyone reveals that Lucifer can't hurt them. Lucifer's not the king of hell like they all thought. He's a prisoner. Wait a second. How the hell does he know that? Lucifer can't prove him wrong, so Vox continues the rally, and man, can he put on a show. Dare I say, he one-ups Lucifer and convinces everyone to go to war with Heaven. Things are getting out of hand when the angels show up. Yes, the angels do go to the rally with Charlie, and they do bring gift baskets. Emily and the others try to apologize and explain that they never intended for the exterminations, but Vox twists their words and enrages the crowd. In my opinion, Sarah should be the one apologizing and taking accountability since she ordered the exterminations. Instead, she pulls out her true form to scare the sinners into silence, insisting that their violence is the exact reason why she called for the exterminations in the first place. I can't make this up. Vox takes that total foot-in-the-mouth moment and declares war on Heaven. Oh, and he also outs Lucifer for being there, which makes Charlie super mad. The angels return to Heaven, and Charlie goes back to the Hazbin Hotel to confront Lucifer. She thinks he made things worse and blames him for Vox successfully inciting a war. Lucifer explains that Vaggie asked him for help, so Charlie turns on Vaggie, leading to a couples dispute. Vaggie tells Charlie that she's the one making things worse because she's playing right into Vox's hands, and is more worried about her reputation than helping sinners. Having had enough, Charlie takes out her anger on Lucifer, telling him to leave the hotel. In the 6th episode of the 2nd season, Vox meets Carmilla Carmine. After forcing Velvet to apologize for their past disputes, he convinces Carmilla to side with them for the upcoming war with Heaven. Carmilla hates the V's, sure, but she'll do anything to keep her daughters safe, even if that requires helping her enemies. When Vox leaves, a spider crawls out from a web, transforming into Zestial. He can't believe Carmilla would help the likes of Vox, so he leaves her, promising to return once she comes to her senses. What is their deal? Hey, Vivzy and Hazbin Hotel, I want the lore on these two. Speaking of the hotel, we return to Vaggie, flying circles around the place to make herself useful. She's finishing chores at the speed of light. As she's fixing the TV in the hotel's lobby, the news reports on Vox-Tech's deal with Carmilla, and how they're creating a new angelic weapon together. Meanwhile, Charlie resorts to asking Husk for advice. He doesn't want to get in the middle of her relationship problems, so when Vaggie comes up to the bar and picks a fight with Charlie, he quits. It's not like Alistair's at the hotel to make him stay, so he walks out of the bar and on his friends. Cherry Bomb even asks about angel dust.
Hey, What about Angel?
What about him? He's a grown-up. Doesn't need me.
Oh yeah, he definitely likes him. As Husk walks out, Vaggie and Charlie decide to visit Carmela, leaving Nifty in charge of the hotel. She would be my last choice, but I guess she's literally the only OG member of the hotel crew sticking things out. Later, Husk arrives at the Magic Cat, his favorite casino from his time as an overlord. He gets swept up in the fun of it all, getting himself stuck in a drunken gambling spree. He's having fun, sure, but he does go about the casino singing about how alcohol is the only love that won't hurt you in the end. I just know he's thinking about Angel Dust and the fight they had after the train incident. Across town, Charlie and Vaggie arrive at Carmilla's factory, where they argue over the best approach. They take so long that Carmilla confronts them first.
I don't have time for this lesbian drama. What is it you want?
Our girls know that Carmilla is one of the few trustworthy overlords in hell, so they try convincing her to leave the V's. Of course, Carmilla puts her family above her moral views, so she turns down Charlie and Vaggie and sends them on their way. Back at the Magic Cat, Husk drowns his sorrows at the bar. He is totally sloshed. But I promise he's telling the truth when the lounge singer comes out with a sexy and somber song looking a hell of a lot like Angel Dust. Husk can't believe his eyes. I'm surprised he doesn't say something about having a dream like this before, because our man is blushing. The lounge singer is Angel Dust, by the way, just dressed as a woman, as he seduces every man in the lounge with his voice. And it's one of my very favorite scenes of the season because of the song alone. While Husk processes Angel Dust's performance, the overlords are up to no good. Over at V-Tower, Vox tells Valentino that he needs to use Angel Dust for the next part of his plan. Valentino's hesitant to give up his star performer, but Vox seduces him into complying. That's when Velvet whips around a chair, revealing she was in the room the whole time. She doesn't like that Vox only comes to them when he needs something, with Alistair agreeing because he was in another chair. Clearly, Alistair's newfound good terms with Velvet prove he succeeded in tearing apart the V's. Anyway, Vox tries to hypnotize Valentino to make him obedient, but Valentino lashes out, reminding Vox that his hypnotizing doesn't work on him. Hurt that Vox wanted to trick him, Valentino leaves the room in a fit of rage. Meanwhile, Charlie and Vaggie return to the hotel. The place is in shambles, and come to find out that Nifty spent the entire day with Baxter, the two of them working together to create a scientifically enhanced band of roaches. A literal band. Vaggie needs to clean up the place, and by the time she's done, she finds Charlie in their bedroom, having made tea for them to share. Charlie admits she lost sight of what they were fighting for, and opens up about her fears, which leads to a beautiful duet, and the couple overcoming their differences. As we cut back to Husk, he and Angel Dust catch up at the bar and have a few drinks. Angel Dust seems to think Husk will return to the Hazbin Hotel by the end of the night, but Husk can't say otherwise. Suddenly, their meeting is interrupted by Valentino calling Angel Dust to work. The lounge singing gig was one of Angel Dust's many side hustles. Anyway, Angel takes a cab to meet with Valentino at a shady motel and discovers that he's meant to spend the night with someone. He goes into the motel room and puts on his best acting, but his client doesn't appear. Angel Dust is about to call it quits when Vox jumps out from the shadows, grapples with Angel Dust, and tries to hypnotize him. Vox reveals that he has hypnotized Angel Dust from the start, turning him into a mole without him knowing. Angel Dust is horrified, but Vox manages to hypnotize him again, stunning him into compliance. Angel Dust doesn't go home that night, but Husk does. And when he gets back to the hotel with Angel Dust nowhere to be found, he knows that something bad has happened. Elsewhere in hell, Lucifer gets a call from Charlie, who asks him to join the fight again. He agrees. How could he not? This is his Charlie we're talking about. Afterwards, we cut to Vox hanging up the phone with a smile, insinuating that it wasn't Charlie who called, but Vox. In the 7th episode of the 2nd season, Lucifer enters an empty dark warehouse. The only source of light is a spotlight shining down on a painted X. Lucifer steps onto the obvious trap, thinking Charlie put it there for him. That's when Vox reveals himself, having faked Charlie's voice to lure Lucifer into a warehouse. He traps him inside the angelic weapon built by Carmela Carmine, which he plans to use to destroy heaven. Or Lucifer is the power source. In Vox's defense, though, I can't believe Lucifer walked right into his trap. I bet he would fall for the gullible is written on the ceiling trick. Despite being caught, Lucifer's not impressed by Vox. Later, Vox dwells on his image and growing success from his surveillance room. He breaks into song, revealing his past with each verse. In life, he started his career as a weatherman before killing his way up the network. He became so famous and beloved that he amassed a huge following, which turned into a cult. As he was about to indoctrinate people into the cult, a TV fell on his head, electrocuting him to death. Running the cult made Vox feel like a god, and he's doing everything in his power to get that feeling back. Back at the Hazbin Hotel, Charlie tries to contact Lucifer with no luck. Her search for her dad is interrupted by the news, delivering a story about Voxtech's latest weapon, the Might of Lilith. During this, Angel Dust gives a speech about never trusting Charlie and provides the V's with his full support. Obviously, he's under Vox's mind control. The weapon is a massive cannon, secretly powered by Lucifer. Vox fires it live for all of hell to see, and it blasts a hole right through Heaven's force field and the front gate, sending those golden doors falling into hell to crash into Heaven's embassy. No one expected the cannon to work so well, and after experiencing their first brutal attack, the angels descend into panic. He also sends a broadcast to Heaven telling the angels they have 24 hours to surrender before hell attacks. The usual angels meet with Sarah to come up with a countermeasure, but none of them can agree on a plan. Sarah walks out on the meeting to pray, only for Sir Pentious to follow her. He gives her his ear and explains that sinners only act so harshly because they're afraid and will do anything to live to see another day. He reminds her that making mistakes and amending them are a part of the being human, and that she can amend her mistakes too, so long as she's willing to meet others halfway. He's way more poetic about it than I am. There's a song and everything, but trust that he convinces Sarah to send Emily in as a diplomatic solution. Meanwhile, Vox planned a banquet for the night before Hell's uprising. Everyone's invited, including Charlie, who wants to use the opportunity to get in close and put an end to Vox, once and for all. Emily arrives as they're planning, and suggests reversing Vox's broadcast so that Sir Pentious can speak to the sinners everywhere, proving his redemption. In doing so, she hopes sinners will stop the fight altogether. Baxter, who works for Voxtech's science department, decides to help his new friends break into Voxtech to save Angel Dust, and to create the broadcast. Their plan is definitely a long shot, but it's all they've got. The season finale opens with a hotel crew, plus Emily, coming up with their plan to take down Vox. Charlie will distract Vox while Husk and Cherry Bomb rescue Angel Dust. Nifty and Baxter will sneak into V-Tower to hack into the broadcast. Emily will stand by until Sir Pentious is ready, then appear to show a united front with Charlie. Vaggie will search for a way to turn off the cannon. At the banquet, everyone breaks into their respective groups while Vox ridicules Charlie in front of the other overlords. Vaggie, meanwhile, discovers Lucifer stuck beneath the cannon and tries to free him. As the others reach their respective locations, Charlie takes the stage and begins a lengthy speech about Sir Pentious. Baxter helpfully mutes Vox while hacking into the tower's mainframe.
This is my... Always wanted to do that.
Since Velvet interrupted them, Baxter hasn't been able to get the broadcast up and running. The audience starts heckling Charlie, and instead of being booed off stage, she stays put. Emily joins her, and they both try to convince the audience. Unfortunately, Vox uses hypnosis on the entire crowd. When he restores his voice, he captures Emily and tells Charlie to admit she's weaker than him. Charlie refuses at first, but then Alistair cashes in his favor, forcing Charlie to name Alistair the most powerful sinner in hell. In an instant, Alistair's bonds with Rosie snap, turning him into a man of free will for the first time in centuries. Vox, more powerful than ever, thanks Charlie and absent-mindedly pats her on the shoulder. In another instant, Alistair's deal with Vox breaks because, as Alistair said, Vox couldn't lay a hand on Charlie. Adam thinks this is a technicality, and so it is. But what's the point of wordplay if not to use it? Vox should have been more careful when making a deal with a demon. Naturally, Alistair and Vox get into a fight, using their demon forms to trade blows across the city. Each group has to fight for their lives for the chance to win, and at some points, things start to look pretty grim. Valentino gets overpowered by Husk and Cherry Bomb, so he demands that Angel Dust rescue him. Angel, still hypnotized, nearly strangles Cherry Bomb to death. Husk manages to wake him up before that happens, but he was scarily close to taking out his best friends. Enraged by his loss, Vox starts to use the massive cannon to try and shoot Alistair. He's shooting like a madman, killing sinners across the town. Charlie and Emily spread out to save as many people as possible, positively boosting their reputation. Meanwhile, Carmilla finally steps in to help Vaggie destroy the cannon, telling her which wires to cut. She should have acted sooner because Vox used the weapon to shoot at Alistair, disintegrating Emily's wing and destroying half of hell. When he goes to shoot the cannon again, Carmilla warns him that doing so will overload it, killing half of hell. He doesn't care though, as he wants revenge on his arch nemesis. Luckily, Velvet and Valentino arrive to stop Vox before he actually shoots the cannon, stopping him entirely by ripping off his head. Somehow Vox survives that though, being, a normal flat screen. Cannon is still primed to overload, so Emily tries to hold back the blast with her angelic powers. She's joined by the other overlords, Charlie and the hotel crew. while everyone with powers adds to her spell, each of them pouring their heart and soul into protecting their homes. They all share a beautiful song, even when Lute and Abel arrive to take Emily back home. Lute defies direct orders and attacks Vaggie, trying to kill her on the spot. Luckily, Abel finds the courage to stand up to Lute and make her stand down, and force her back home. Rosie corners Alistair and convinces him to help the others by making a deal with him. Quid pro quo, as they would say. But the specifics of that deal remain a mystery for the 3rd season. As they join up with Charlie and the others, so do the remaining overlords, including Valentino and Velvet. As they combine all of their magic, they hold back the force of the explosive weapon. They then lift the cannon into the sky where it explodes. After Emily and the others save the day, Serpentius finally gets the broadcast to work, proving to everyone that redemption is real. Nearly everyone changes sides to support Charlie rather than the V's. Speaking of the V's, they return to work, taking Vox with them. However, he knows he's really stepped in it with his latest power trip. Angel Dust notices Valentino leaving and tells the others that he's going back to work with him full time. It's the most devastating reveal because Husk practically begs him to stay, but it's no use. Angel Dust thinks his past hypnosis makes him dangerous to everyone in the hotel. In the weeks that follow, the hotel's business booms. They have a full house and everyone's there to redeem themselves. Charlie sends her mom another voicemail updating her on everything that's happened and how hell adjusted after the rise and fall of the V's. When she hangs up, she doesn't expect an answer. Her phone never rings, and if it does, the number is rarely one she recognizes. That's why Lilith calling her directly after that voicemail is the biggest cliffhanger ever. Alright, so that was Hazbin Hotel so far, but as Lucifer would say, the show must go on. There are at least 2 more seasons on the way, and a lot more story to tell as the power struggle continues to grow between heaven and hell. Thanks for watching, and feel free to click on another one of these videos to watch more content from my channel. Please like, subscribe, comment, and do all those other awesome things you people do, and I'll see you next time. Bye.